for having with me on today's session, and hope I am loud and clear to you. Sorry. All right. So the last session I've told you the two divides of sample. One is probability sampling. The other one is non-probability sampling. So I don't want to repeat on that one, but still this is just a recall. So our job today is to make sure that how we are going to work more with sampling and sampling techniques, right? So I believe you are seeing my screen, and now we are going to see the next session. Today we are going to discuss how do I choose my sampling technique. Now this is the real decision for a researcher. I call like this is the marriage moment for a researcher, and it's the most important research moment. Why we call it as the most important research moment? Because right sampling strengthens your study, and wrong sampling weakens all your conclusions. If you make a wrong sampling, you don't feel that disability in your research. You won't feel it. But at the end, when you make your conclusions, you will understand, oh my God, I lost my DNA of my research. What? The DNA of research is the right sampling technique, choosing the right one. So I totally agree with James, and I agree with Vanessa and other members and Juliet who interpreted their study. The first point, what we always look on when you choose your sampling technique is what is your research design. So James was telling that James is looking at the energy dependency in the mobile towers, because we have three sources of energy, one from the grid, one from solar, one from diesel generators. James, hope you can admit people. Can you admit people?
Yes, I'm doing that.
Oh, all right. Thank you, brother. So if you look at James' research, it has a quantitative part and it has a qualitative part. What is the quantitative part? The quantitative part is the energy in terms of measurable, the measurable terms of energy. Now, qualitative means even we can quantify it. Before that, what we have to see, who are the users of these mobile tower services? Of course, the customers and B2B business also, because one mobile tower may be shared by multiple number of service providers and other businesses also. So there is a qualitative part in that one, and we have to understand that one. See, the electricity supply division of the government is that is one of your stakeholders, and the people who service your diesel generator, they are also one of the stakeholders. Either they are a supplier or they are a service provider. The people from you buy fuel, they are also your stakeholders. And you, the business who runs and maintains these towers, because you are taking service charges from different service providers for the maintenance of these service towers for the mobile communication. So there is a quantitative part and there is a qualitative part. Maybe the qualitative part, the switching between the different energy sources has to be appropriate so that there is no disconnectivity. If there is a disconnectivity, definitely the quality of service is lost, and that can be also quantifiable. So we have to look into what is your research design. Are you using, like James said, it is a mixed method, quantitative, qualitative, and in our research phases, as I told you before, if you prefer with a hypothesis and accepting the null or rejecting the null, yes, we have to have quantitative data that is need to be measured, tested using different statistical tests. So in your research design, if you are following a quantitative design, yes, you use probabilistic sampling. This is the best way. You can note it down. If you have a quantitative phase with hypothesis, use probability sampling techniques. And if you are doing a study to know like what Elizabeth is doing, to understand the people experience, the user interface experience, digital experience, yes, we want to understand. That is a kind of exploration. So this is qualitative. So we can use non-probabilistic sampling because we explore or context rich. When it comes to Vanessa, of course, the people you mentor, and it is more maybe qualitative in nature, but there is quantitative. What is their progression? Are they getting better marks? Are they getting better employment? Are they having quality life? The success rates, retention to mentorship. So, if you take a researcher, it's quite confusing. Almost all researchers have quantitative and qualitative phase. But I will go to a next example where we really see what is a quantitative aspect. Okay, so this is the first point. Identify what kind of research you are doing. Is that quantitative or qualitative? And based on that, you can choose your sampling technique. So we are getting to the two divides. If it is quantitative, use probability sampling. And if it is qualitative, use non-probability sampling. Hope you all are clear on that. Now, the second point. What you are going to do with this research? So, Odoch, welcome. Now, are you going to do a kind of generalization? Are you going to do a kind of generalization? Because we know that sample represents a population, and our job, William, just mute yourself. So, right. Yeah. Right. I muted William. So, the generalization, are you going to represent the entire population? So you use a probabilistic sampling. Let's take an example. Like what Vanessa was doing. Vanessa has a mentoring group. Is Vanessa going to generalize? This is what is going to happen. The entire people who are mentored in the world or in Uganda or in Kampala district, not only under her, not only under her team, but almost all mentees, you are going to generalize. So there is the population is the people who are getting mentored. I hope you are understanding me. Not only to her mentees and to her team, but for all mentees we want to represent. This is what we are going to get for the entire population of mentees who are being mentored in different areas or mentored in different areas by mentors. So in such cases, you use probabilistic sampling. But if you want to get some insights, but we don't want to generalize, then you can use non-probability sampling. Say like Vanessa has a team of 5 mentors or 100 mentors. So what she's going to do, she do some non-probability sampling from different mentees who are being mentored by a mentors team. Then she's not generalizing, but she's trying to get some insights. I'll give you an example. Today I've been to a place where somebody seen my name as Dr. Paul. So they understood I'm a doctor, I'm a researcher. So the person approached me, can you mentor me for some research publication so that I can get myself for a PhD in some foreign university. So in fact, when this person associates with me, I'm mentoring her. Like that, I mentor a number of people other than you. So I can generate some insights on the people whom I mentor Using non-probability sampling, I'm saying that, okay, this is some insight I want to take from the mentees in research. Similarly, I have another Dr. John who is also doing some mentorship. So I can also take some mentees from me also, and I can do some kind of non-probabilistic sampling and I can get some insights. But if I want to generalize all the researches being mentored all over Uganda or all over the world, then I have to use probabilistic sampling. So this is the second thing. Do you need generalization or you need insights? The next thing, do you have a sampling frame? This is more important. The list of population available. Suppose if I am doing a study at Isbat University on the effectiveness of AI-based large language models on the academic performance of the students, how these large language models like ChatGPT, Claude, and other things are going to help the students to improve their academic performance. And I know my population size, my 3,000 students. So I have the list of population is available. In James' case, yes, the list may be available. In Vanessa's case, if she confine herself only to the people or to the group of mentors under the group of mentors and the mentees under them, yes, then the list is available. In such cases, you can use random methods like simple random, stratified, systemic, or cluster. But when you don't have the list with you, say like, now we are talking about the mentees in Kampala. We don't know how many people are being undergoing mentorship. It may be in different areas, maybe in sports, maybe in research, maybe in academics, maybe in specific course units, maybe for employment, maybe for professional development, maybe for personality development. So there are different kind of mentoring happening in the Kampala city. And do we have that full list? It may not be available. Then we use purposeful snowball sampling. Suppose I'm thinking that, I'm thinking what should be the sports performance of different sports people at an age of 18 to 25 who are undergoing mentorship under sports personalities, and what is their performance? In that case, many people do private mentorship and I don't know exactly to get the list. Such case, what I can do, I start my running in the morning. I'm seeing a cyclist and a group of cyclists. From their dressing, the type of bike they use, I know they are professional bikers, so I can contact them. I can ask them, who is your leader, how you have been getting mentored. Yes, they will explain everything. And I can ask them what level of competitions you have been attending and what is your achievements. So they give me the details. Now I want to find another group of cyclists being mentored. So I ask them, you do know some other group is being mentored? So they tell me, yes, I have Mr. Smith from Scandinavia doing that kind of training. And you can find them in the other side of another hill. Like now I am in Kololo, maybe they are training most times in the Nagru hill side, Nagru Valley side. So I move there, I find Smith's team. Then I asked Smith, do you know some other people? So they tell, okay, I have a team. Usually we used to see them in Kololo. I said, I have met them. Oh, okay, no problem. I have one group. I know one group that is being led by Mr. Patale of this Tinda is a coach. So I moved. So in Kampala, like this, I get connected to these different mentors. And finally, I'm reaching again back to Smith. I'm coming back to John. I'm coming back to all the people whom I met. Means that almost I am saturated. This is a kind of called as snowball or purposeful sampling. So when I don't know the exact population, the list of the people in the population, then what should I do? I use purposeful or snowball sampling. But when I know the list of the people under population, then I can use random, simple random, stratified, systemic, and cluster. Now the fourth point, what is your unit of analysis? Are you going to study on individual? Are you going to study on organization? are you going to study on a group or team? Sometimes your study may have all these three categories. So if you are studying on individual, like employees, customers, students, mentees, we have to sample individual respondents, isn't it? If it is an organization, we have to sample organizations also. So like I told you about my previous study, what is actually happening on the graduate trainee performance in private banks in Kampala. Then group or team, if I want to study on the different performance of sales team in different banks who are selling different kind of investment tools. So maybe the marketing team, sales team. So these are the different ways what you have to choose. So I hope you are getting a clear idea. First, you look what is your research design. Second, you look, do you want to generalize or you want to get insights? Thirdly, you look, do you have a sampling frame? So you understand first, when you know your sampling frame, you know all the people under your population. If you don't know, then you can use purposeful or small sampling. Now, what is your unit of analysis? That individual, organization, team, or group? So based on this, we can choose the kind of sampling what you can do. So in the fourth point, you have to again roll back to 1, 2, or 3. Isn't it? If I'm studying on banks, do I have a list of all the banks? If I'm studying on individuals, do I have a list of all the individuals who are being recruited to the banks under graduate training program? If I know a group of team, do I have a list of that one? So knowing all who are your population in different categories. The organization is a population, group is a population, team is a population, individual is a population. That is more important. So as a quick reference guide, what we can say, quantitative, use probability sampling. Qualitative, use non-probability sampling. If you need to generalize, use probability sampling. If there is no generalization, use non-probability sampling techniques. If you have a sampling frame, use random methods. If you don't have a sampling frame, use purposive or snowball. If you if you know the unit of analysis, choose who, what you will sample. So here it starts from the 4th level, then it moves up. So let's take an example. I'm recalling the graduate trainee in private banks in Kampala. My design is, of course, quantitative. Need for generalization? Yes. Why? Because I want to generalize the performance of people who have been recruited as graduate trainees. Sampling frame, of course, I need to have it. I have available. Unit of analysis, individual trainees. But I'm going for the organization by which I'm going to stratify. So I can use a recommended technique, stratified random sampling. Like I can stratify by bank or stratify by gender, department. This left it to the researcher. So the key takeaway from this board is what? There is no best technique for every study, but we have only the most appropriate technique. Maybe great professors say that there is a best technique, but to my level, I say there is only the most appropriate technique for your research question. And that depends upon your research question, context, and objective. I hope you're getting me well. Any questions?
Elizabeth, your hand was up.
Yes, doctor. Yeah, by the time you gave me the opportunity to talk, my network got issues, doctor. But I was thinking of, because you said my micro research, I can use non-probabilistic sampling. But yeah, I'd seen the most suitable one for mine would be that random sampling, the type stratified. Why? Because the population has natural subgroups that I'm to consider. The staff, the users, the librarians themselves, and so on and so forth. That was my point, Doctor.
Oh, great. William, I want to hear from you. Are you available?
Hello, Doctor. A very good evening to you. I was a bit challenged with connectivity, but
Okay.
I came in a bit
No problem.
late.
No problem. No problem. We don't want to disturb you. We'll share you the recording. Thank you very much, William. All right. Okay. So, members, I believe that you all can hear me well and you are okay with the first board. Is that okay? Can we move to the next one? Are you all hearing me well? Hello?
Yes, Doctor.
So we are moving to the next one. Yeah, all right. Okay. So this is the major thing what you have to keep in mind. Like, if you look at your answer, if you try to answer 1, 2, 3, and 4, I hope you can get into a good stage. Right. Now, let's see sample size. You know, too big, too small, all creates a problem. So getting the right number of reliable results is most important part of choosing the number of samples. So I always say, if it is a population census, like, it is good, larger is always better, but then there is no need for sampling, isn't it? And as I told in my previous session, it depends upon your time, capacity, and resources. So the very large samples, you waste a lot of resources and may not add much value, because when you're going to a lot of people, and you may not be able to capture things very well. So the most important part when you look at the number of samples is adequacy and not the size alone. You should have adequate sizable sample. And we can do this by Cronbach alpha test that we will come to later. Then the sample size must be adequate and justified, which means that you say, I have only 10 people in my population. That cannot be called as a research, but can be called as a research. So I suggest your sample size should be large enough so that you will be able to collect data collection and do your inquiry, do your statistical test, and you can justify yourself. Because you might have seen the pre-poll result, post-poll prediction results, and all. So, in politics, and most of the cases it comes good, some cases it goes wrong. Because it goes wrong, why? Because they may not get the adequate samples. So sample size is not about how many you can get, but how many you need. That is the most important thing that you have to understand philosophically, because you are going to generalize a population. So we have to make sure the number what you get is enough to make generalization to drawing size. So let's look at the 4 points that determines sample size. The one is population size. Look at the notations. The population size is always denoted as N, uppercase N. The population size is denoted as uppercase N. Please note it on your books. And variability, you see, there is a variability in the population. The more variability in the population, then you need large sample size. Then only we can make proper estimation. The third one is confidence level. So the kind of study you are doing, your confidence level is whether 95 or 99, So if you want to have 99%, then you need more sample size. Your research design, like, are you doing a survey, experiment, case study? So all these things matters. So this all we discussed before. The sample size is determined by all these things. But one thing, if confidence level is more sample is required. If variability is high, you need more sample. And there should be a proportionate amount of the population size with the sample size. If your population is very wide, you need also large size of samples. And the type of research designs what you make, that also matters. So this is how we come to philosophically to establish the sample size. That's a logic conclusion, isn't it? So larger is not always better. Too small is not too good, but what we need is adequate. If the sample size is too small, there is a high risk of error, because the samples what you pick is highly scattered in the population, and real results are also highly scattered, so they cannot be trustworthy. If adequate means you can converge, you can conclude, and you get more reliable and precise results. So there will be a balance. There is a balance. So what is the sample size that is balancing? The balance of reliability, precision, and resources. If you have time, time is a resource. Money is a resource. Access is a resource. Reliable samples are a resource. So reliability, precision, plus resources gives quality results. This is what we have to balance. So this is a general introduction how to choose the sample size. Any questions?
Doctor, can I ask?
Yes, please.
Okay, thank you so much about sampling. My question is, if you are doing a study like yours is about banking, maybe for me, I'm looking at higher education institutions. What would be my samples? My sample, okay, I think you haven't reached there, maybe to compute the size. Because I talk about maybe it is too small, again, it's bad. If again it's too big, also it's difficult to manage. So at what point do I say, like, maybe I want to deal with maybe 10 banks out of maybe 50 banks? What do I take into consideration? I submit.
Okay, first of all, what you have to make sure, what is your research question? Are you going to study on the retention and the leadership performance of people who have been recruited by the private sector banks as graduate trainees in Kambala district? So I'm specifying a lot of things. My area is very specified. The region is very specific, Kambala district. The type of organization is very specific, private sector banks in Kambala district. And my individuals under study are those who are recruited to bank under graduate trainee program. You see, my research question is very clear. So if you want to do a wholesome study, 100%, if you identify 10 banks in Kambala district, like 10 branches of banks in Kambala district who offer graduate training program. So you have a period of study, like you are going to study about the people who have recruited from since 2000 to 2020, a period of 20 years. Or you can confine from 2020 to 2025. So you're getting me. So you know your population now, isn't it? Your population by banks, your population by the people who have recruited now in these 5 years. So from this, you have to choose your sample size. So what is the first part? The first core pinning part is your research question. What is your population? And if you are looking at the performance, you can say the people who have been recruited from 2000 to 2005 or 2005 to 2015. Then you can choose the ideal sample size. Suppose there are 10 brands of private sector banks operating in Kampala, and you only go to 5 banks. Of course, there is no problem of doing that research, but will that research be complete? Because you are not attending 5 institutions, 5 brands of banks that also recruit people in the same method. Now you are confining yourself only to 50% of enterprises, isn't it? So if you look back, you see this slide. If you're looking at the organization banks, there are 10 banks, 10 brand of banks that are operating in Kampala district, but you are choosing only 5 brand of banks. Now what will happen? Will it be adequate? That is the question. Will it be adequate? Will your sample size balances this adequacy? Can you say that your outcome will be precise? Whether it will be reliable? Can you generalize? No. So you have to choose the 10 brands, the 10 organizations of private sector banks. In that you can systematically give, okay, from this bank, let me have 10 people. And if you are choosing a period of 2005 to 2010, then in that you should have at least one or two samples from each year who have been recruited. Then you will know how are they staying, are they getting a leading position, are they in the leadership pipeline? Are you getting me? Did I answer you well? Sorry.
Yes, thank you, doctor. It is very clear now.
Yeah, this is the most important part of research. Your sampling technique is decided by your research question. And your research question should specify your focus, the people under study, and are you able to balance the population? Because if you have too small sample, you are risking, but you need adequate. Hope it is clear and clear. Now, this is research because we have a mix of research scholars who are in IT, who are in management. So, but for my scholars of IT, this is very precise for you. For my scholars of business, this is a learning for you because I told you, as a researcher, you cannot keep away things. This is also one kind of study. So this is my research currently I'm just working on. Maybe the drive is from Mr. James, that is fuel dependency. So I was thinking of the energy efficient navigation in agriculture robots. So in fact, I'm trying to develop a prototype of a field robot. My idea, I'm trying to develop a concept model, a coffee farmer like robot, so that it can go and sense and understand what is happening in the farm. Even I'm seeing how precise it can do some kind of farming activities, such as cutting weeds, pruning the coffee plant. I do surveillance of the coffee plants so that we will know the health of the plant. Even it can have some probes that can use to take some samples from the soil to understand the mineral mix of the soil, and I can do some soil truthing. Maybe my next level, even it can be used to harvest mature coffee beans also. Okay, but I'm not going to that extent now. My challenge, I'm using the most challenge of any field robot is power optimization, energy optimization. And you know, at different seasons, different climate, different weather conditions, the energy used by these robots to move it varies. Like if your field is slippery, if it is with rain, it has mud, it has a gradient, you know, the energy usage may be different. So I'm trying to make a navigation route for my field robot to move in, say, like 2 acres of coffee farm. What will be the optimized path my field robot can move so that the energy utilization will be less. I hope you all can understand me. Don't worry about whether you management research or you do about IT research. Just think you are a researcher. How I will manage my robot to move in the farm is by GPS positioning, isn't it? So I can map my field with a GPS positioning so that my field robot moves with only inside my farm. It will not step into my neighbor's farm, isn't it? That is GPS positioning. It knows the digital fencing, where to go, how to, what is the the fencing, what are the limits to which it can move. I can use a compass sensors for which direction it has to move. Then the wheels, as they move, they apply pressure to the earth, isn't it? So it depends upon the drive force what they give on the wheels. If the earth is bit muddy, or it has more water content, it may slip off. So the resistance, the friction between the wheels and the earth makes the things to move. The machine applies force, but if the friction is less, that means what? The soil is muddy, or it has more water, it needs more energy. The traction energy requires is more. And also on the gradient, the slope, the orientation, because it has to avoid obstacles. So these all encompasses the energy usage. So the major challenges when we work with agricultural robots, in traditional navigation, always look at the shortest path. What is the traditional navigation? It see where it want to go, and it chooses the most shortest path. But in that shortest path, the earth traction may be different, the gradient may be different. So the shortest path may not be advantageous for energy optimization. It may have to use more energy. It is like, when you climb up the Kololo hill, I can straightly cut and climb the Kololo hill, but I need more energy. But if I use ringer, like, then I may not need more energy. I can save energy. So in the field, what we can say that the terrain structure all decides the consumption of energy. So taking the shortest path alone cannot make energy efficiency. It may lead to high energy consumption. So the goal of my research is to enable a robot to choose path that minimizes energy consumption. And even James, you can use this in your research also. So not only distance, while reaching the destination safely also. Maybe the rover has to move far distance than the shortest optimal path, but it may be consuming less energy. So what I say is here, I first, in this kind of research, what I'm going to do, I sense the environment. I sense the environment in real time by sensing position, slope, the soil and the traction. If soil is wetty, traction, then I understand the field. Then only I will choose which path it has to go. So once I understand the terrain, then I understand the terrain cost based on energy. So I'm trying to convert the terrain conditions into an energy cost map. What you see on the green side on the left corner is low cost, because the rover may be moving bit more distance, but the traction cost is less because the position, the slope, soil conditions are better. So I calculate an energy cost map before the rover moves. Now the rover will move in the best low energy route. That is, the rover will plan an energy optimal path. Hope you're getting me. So the rover is not moving only to the destination. It is not only looking to the shortest path to the destination, but before that, it identifies the terrain, and from that, it will find a path that uses the best optimal energy utilization. And my rover is learning this continuously using machine learning, and it will adapt and learn from experience to choose the best energy prediction for navigation. This is what a human being does in their farm, isn't it? If you have a farmland, if you move to somewhere, if you are using a cycling, bike, you will use all these techniques because your brain is the best machine, it learns. So I'm making my rover to do this. Now you understand why I do this study. The purpose, this is the research question, or this is my research objective. Instead of choosing the shortest path, I choose my rover to study on the terrains and calculate the best energy efficient optimal path. Then it keeps on moving. Now, this is an analogy for all of your studies. Whether you are going to study on the mentor-mentee relations, if you are going to study on the family life of the people and people performance, if you are going to do your study on how library systems are going to be affected, if you are going to study on the energy dependency of the mobile towers, this is an analogy. This is an analogy. Understand the best efficient thing. Then you keep on moving. So why my study is important? It extends battery life, it improves the mission time, it reduces energy wastage and operational cost, enables smarter, sustainable agriculture. In one line, I can say that I'm going to help agriculture robots to make smarter movements, not only through GPS positioning, not only through GPS mapping and by compass heading, also to understand, estimate the nature of the terrain, and from that convert a low energy terrain shortest path with the optimal use of energy. So this is not about just moving a robot within the GPS positioning and the geofencing, but also estimating the energy utilization. So, and I'm training the robot to learn it intelligently with minimum energy. Hope you're getting my research. Did you understood the research first? Can you answer, James?
Yes, doctor, I was trying to follow you up.
Yeah.
Up to
Now
some extent.
Yeah, please carry on.
Yeah, you're looking at developing a robot which is going to basically
Save energy.
optimize.
Save energy.
Yeah, optimize maybe your resources so that you can save as much as you can. Maybe that's what I can say.
Okay, my question to Juliet: did you find a similar kind of situation that is analogical to your academic operations in your university, where you want to use optimal usage of resources? Can you explain this as an analogy in your work experience or in your area of work? Ms. Juliet Tabale, over to you. Okay, I'm not seeing a response from her. Let me share it. Now, if you take the field robot as one of my academic staff, it's a biological person. Now, if I schedule classes continuously for my faculty member, they will get tired, isn't it? So what I have to do, I have to give breaks in between. And if I add more course units for them to teach, they have to study more, their energy may be lost. So what I will do, I will combine course units that have similarity so that my faculty don't have to explore more and more and no need to spend more energy in learning new things. It is good to learn. So here, what I do to my faculty member, I want to save their energy, the teaching energy. So what I'll do when I schedule my classes, I also understand the hours of work as well as intellectual capacity, skill capacity of my faculty. So based on the skill capacity, intellectual capacity, and also on the age, health conditions, I understand what will be the energy cost for a faculty per day. And based on that, I can schedule an optimal class schedule for a faculty. So you see, in social science or in IT, the concepts are same. Hope it is clear and clear for you all. Where is Juliet? Okay, Vanessa, what is your understanding of this example?
My understanding of the example is how you can get the I don't know if you hear me well. Do you hear me well?
Yes, we hear you very well.
Okay, okay. Is how you can use quantitative methods to ensure that you get proper. I think it's calculations.
Yes.
Yes,
Calculations, optimal
yes,
use. Yes, right.
yes. Optimal
Okay.
use of the method to get proper calculations.
Is Juliet is the one speaking in between, or she's lost? I hope all the members you understood this example well. Now I am coming to the sampling technique. Now, if you look at my research, my study is basically on calculation of the cost of movement using the terrain nature. So when I do my sampling in my study, I should attend all kind of terrains, isn't it? A flat terrain, a slope terrain, a muddy terrain, a rocky terrain, and a terrain with gradients also, isn't it? So I need to get samples from all kind of terrains. When I make my prototype model, when I test drive it to collect data to make an efficient optimal energy navigation system, my study has to go in all these terrains, because my purpose is an energy efficient navigation for agriculture robots. So my question, can I test all terrains? Can I test all field conditions? These are big deals. So what I will do, I do sampling in different terrain conditions. Why I do sampling? Because if I have a 40 acres coffee farm, I cannot make my robot to move in all the 40 acres or 1000 acres and collect data. It is good if you can collect. But what I do, my population is all possible terrains and field condition agriculture environment. You can see in the photos, it is too large, too diverse, and it is too costly if I do it. We have different type of terrains. So I categorize my terrains into 4: flat terrain, slope terrain, wet and muddy terrain, and bit rocky or tough terrain. And from that terrains, I do sampling. So from the entire terrains, what you see on the left side, the population of terrains, I choose a sample of a subset of terrains: flat, sloped, wet, muddy, and rocky. So instead of a large one, I can get a smaller one. Instead of diverse and costly testing, I can get a manageable and a representative sampling. So what we say, sampling is selecting a subset of reality to represent the whole system. So from this example, from this real research, what I'm doing, the key insights, we do not test everything. That means we do not go to everyone, but intelligently we sample and make valid, efficient, and generalized conclusion. So this is what you do in your piloting also. Start your research in the reality. Don't go so hypothetical. So it will help you to do the proper sampling. I hope now you understood what I'm trying to explain to you all. I need a feedback.
Yes, doctor.
Yeah, Abok, are you around? Aloni, are you around?
Yes, I've got
yeah, these all are very important for you. So what is sampling in this context? The real research context is energy efficient navigation in agriculture robots. The question, can you test all terrains? Very difficult. Can you test all the field conditions in Uganda? It is also difficult. So what you do sample of the terrains. So this is the population of terrains: flat and dry, flat and wet, sloped dry, sloped wet, rocky terrain, loamy soil, sandy soil, clay soil, high moisture soil, low moisture soil. So these are the entire set of NCR combinations of terrains. So what I do, I convert them to a sample, a selected subset. Population of terrains mapped to a selected subset of terrains like flat and dry, slope and wet, rocky terrain, clay soil, high moisture. So these are the selected cases that represent the whole system to simulate the analysis. So I can simulate with my prototype. So in fact, sampling is selecting a subset of reality to represent the whole system. So you look at here, this is the population and this is the sample. I think this is the best example I can represent to you all. Either you're doing a social science research or an IT-based research. Is that clean and clear for you all? Any questions?
Dr. Me, I'm okay. I've gotten it.
Yeah, I hope other members also are okay with this, isn't it? So,
Doctor, I wanted to ask something.
yeah, please. Yes, go ahead.
When you were talking about the sample size, how we determine? I believe there is a formula of determining a sample size. Is that right, Doctor?
Yeah, that we haven't discussed yet. That is a simple formula that we'll discuss later. My idea is to understand things, why we need sampling. Because now you see in this research, it is terrains. Your research, it may be people are undergraduates, people who are just new to the university, people who have done one graduation, isn't it? So their understanding of library is different, isn't it? Some people who are good in IT, their understanding of the digital ecosystem of library is different. Some people, they have a lot of exposure, their understanding is different, isn't it? So like the terrains, it's kind of people you are going to check on to get your data on those who are using the digitalized library, isn't it? Hope you can map the analogy, isn't it, Elizabeth?
Yes, Doctor.
All right, okay. So the two kind of sampling techniques I'm going to use here. One is probability sampling. That is a very scientific approach because we need scientific approach. So what does it mean? In this, the field robot which I'm going to develop has a known chance of being in all kind of terrains. Because the population here is the different kinds of terrains through which this field robot has to keep on moving. And remember, this field robot is an intelligent learning machine that conserves energy not only by calculating the shortest path, but also by estimating the power, the energy required to move in to reach the destination. So I'm trying to use these samples to generalize. So here, population is all possible terrains or types of soil types or slopes. And sample, I'm going to choose selection using my simulation. So I can use a method called as simple random sampling. So I'm going to teach you what is simple random sampling in this case. For all people, it is understandable. So I randomly generated terrain conditions. You can see I generate all the possible terrain conditions. So which means that at any point of time, sorry, this rover has an equal chance of getting to any terrain. So that means I am unbiased. So I'm randomly selecting. Okay, I'm randomly selecting. But there is another method. I do stratified sampling. I'm very serious about scientific study, I divide the terrain into different strata. This is called a stratified sampling. So the population is first divided into strata: flat, sloped, wet, rocky. And from that, from each strata, I am choosing samples. So this ensures representation. Here, I am not getting full representation because I'm randomly picking up. Sometimes I may lose slope ones. I may be losing a wet one when I do the random. Otherwise, I have to do multiple randomization. So it is good if I use stratified sampling because the population is divided into strata. From that strata, I take sample. Now, another one is called a systematic sampling. What I do, I arrange the population. The population is terrain here. For you, maybe the different bands or the different individuals. I arrange them in an ordered condition. Maybe the condition may be different, like the flat may be the easiest one, slope may be a bit difficult, wet may be more energy required. So maybe on energy conditions, I arrange them in specific order. And from that, I can put K. Say like, if K equal to 0, then I choose the next third one, or I can choose K is 3 or 4, 5. So every third terrain I select. So that means every kth terrain has a chance of getting as a sample. This is called as systematic sampling. Or else I can do cluster sampling. What is cluster sampling? I divide the field into natural group of clusters, like zone A, zone B, zone 3, zone 4, zone 5, like that. And from that, I pick a different type of clusters. So this is I'm just saying a method in which you can do this study. So I hope you got what is simple random sampling, what is stratified sampling, what is systematic sampling, what is cluster sampling. The purpose, the key takeaway is that the probability samplings, this is actual PhD research. The probability samplings gives every unit a known chance of getting selected. So that my simulations, there is a chance that this rover is going to move to all kind of possible terrains to generalize to the real world situation. So my friends, choose the technique that fits best for your terrain structure or best fit for your research study and your research objectives. That is how you are going to choose the best sampling technique. So when I use this, how I do my simulations? Because
Doctor,
yes,
excuse me?
Yes, please.
I'll just in the previous slide, it's like is it K equals to 4? Just to be very sure.
Yeah, you can put 4 also, there is no problem. So instead of 3, see now 3. So if it is 3 from 2, 1, 2, 3, the next one will be the 6th one, isn't it?
Yes.
See, yeah, like that. That you can put any number that you can choose. You can put any number. Don't get confused with that. Every kth terrain. What is a kth terrain? Every third terrain. So 1, 2, 3, or 5, like that, it keeps on moving. Hope you're getting me. You can put every fourth terrain, every fifth terrain, because the scientific way of doing a systematic sampling. Is that clear? Above.
Yes.
Don't worry
Yes.
about the K equal to 3. You can put K as any number. All right. So the insight what I get from here, because I'm doing a simulation under different terrain, that is how I'm doing it. So if my sampling is good, it represents the real world. This is in social science or in IT. If your sampling is only to one terrain, my field rover will produce only one kind of results. If it is flat, it knows how to move only in one flat terrain. And reality, my rover never knows that there are different kinds of terrains. So if the sample is well represented one, then it will represent all reality. This is for social science as well as for IT or any kind of research. Your sample should be a representation of reality. So this will really reflect on the actual performance, what you get out of your research. If my rover is tested in samples of different terrains, or if your study is on all kind of varieties of your population, and if your population has a very big variance, then you need more samples, isn't it? Here the terrain has big variance, isn't it? It is multiple variant. So the key takeaway is that your sample should represent all possible realities. Here, this robot, it will fail if it is not representing all possible realities of terrains. Similarly, when you study on the performance of graduate trainees recruited by banks, then the sample should be spread in all kind of private sector banks in Kampala. Otherwise, reality is not there. Your conclusions will not be valid. So good sampling is the foundation of trustworthy research and reliable, here in this case, robotic systems. So how there is no much need of this one. So what I want to tell you here, in ICT research, we cannot study everything. So what we do, we use samples, we select the subset of real world system, and in that, we develop a sampling technique, we develop visual examples, then we develop models. if you are making AI models. If you're working on networking, even you take samples of packets, then you work. In software testing also, we take different scenarios of testing, and you take the samples and you can ensure the quality of the software what you make.
Doctor, we can't see the screen now.
Yeah, my God. You lost.
Yes.
So let me stop sharing. Let me again share. Share window. Can you see now?
Yes. Maybe you could go to the previous slide. Yes.
Can you see this?
Yes.
So what I'm saying here, the most important side for a researcher is that your sample should represent the real world. It should have some representation of the real world. In the case of field rover, it has to move in different terrains, isn't it? Then only it can manage energy optimization. When you do a social science research, similarly, when you're working on the graduate trainee performance of private sector banks, you should go to all the private sector banks operating in Kampala district, isn't it? You cannot confine your study, okay, I do only with DTB. So what happens to the graduate trainees of other banks? Otherwise, you say, I do only study with DTB. Or else, in this case, you can say, my rover will work energy efficient only in flat, clean terrain. But reality is not that one, isn't it? So that is why we use sample. So if the sample is a proper representation, your results will be better. Are you getting me? Are you understanding me? James?
Yes, I'm following you, doctor.
Yeah. So what I say here, this is for IT people. If you are studying on AI models, you train different data sets, visual examples, and from that you extract and generalize. This is applicable to networking, software testing, and user studies. So either in IT or in social science, we never study everything. That is the most important part. William, we never study everything. Instead, what we do, from the large population, you choose a sample, and that is a subset, and from that we try to generalize. So a good sample leads to valid, reliable, and generalizable results. This is what I want to tell you at the moment. So basically, what we say that if you want to generalize the results, use probability sampling. If you want to explore, if you develop a new idea, if you do a case study, you can use non-probability sampling. If you need a balance of everything, you use stratified sampling. If you want to test a specific condition, you use purposive sampling. You use purposive sampling. So this is what I want to tell you in this session. The idea of this session was to get you understandable about what is your goal. So based on that goal, choose the right sampling that will lead to reliable results, and that will help you to take better decisions. So that is the purpose of sampling. So before I conclude, the final teaching I want to tell you is that sampling is not a technical step in research. It is a decision that whether your research reflects reality or not. This is I want to tell you all in social science, all in ICT, engineering, or in medical science, whatever area of your research. You have to decide whether your sample represents the real life of the people under study, or you are under the real life of your study. So why this is important? Because the quality of the sample decides the quality of your conclusions. Depending upon the type of study, your population varies. If you are doing a social science, your population may be the people working in the marketing department, sorry, or the students studying in a university. When you work on a field robot, it can be, the population can be through the terrains through which this robot is moving. So the sample should reflect all possible terrains like that. The sample should reflect all categories of your population. So you'll get better results and conclusion. But if your sampling is poor, your conclusions become invalid. A good sampling has a good representation of all categories of population under study, and it gives more reliable results in reality, and the conclusions become valid and reliable. So the key takeaway here, good sampling leads to a research that is valid, reliable, and to real world ready usable ones. So my scholars, your sampling decisions shapes your research impact. So my request to you all, choose it wisely. For this, try to understand your research in a very natural, simplified way. Understand the responsibility on your shoulders as a researcher, and you try to see in reality what you're doing. Why you sample? Is your sample is the real representation of the reality? Then it gives you a final selection of your sampling techniques. So this is what I want to tell you for today, because we have almost done 1 hour, and now time for a Q&A. Any questions you can ask now? Over to you all. Members, I request all, if possible, come on camera, and if you have some questions, you can ask. Who is that? Abok. Come on, Abok.
Okay, thank you, Doctor, for today's class. Basically, I don't have any question. I think you have been very elaborate on all the issues of sampling. Thank you.
Most welcome. Members, if you have any questions, you can ask. Otherwise, we can end up the session. I'll share you the recording. Elizabeth, James, Mike, Juliet, Vanessa, Veronica, Andrew. Anything you want to say, or can we end up the session?
Doctor, I think you've been spot on. You said right goal leads to right sampling, leading to reliable results, and of course, a better decision. Thank you for that summary. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So I say that understand your research in reality. When you choose the sample, make sure, are you reaching the real life situations of your study? If not, it will not help you to do the study. So members, thank you very much. Tomorrow, we'll again go for the session. Hope I can manage better now. So thank you all for attending, and I wish you all a good weekend. Before that you end up, I'm putting the attendance of today's session in the group, and thank you all. Thank you very much, and have a blessed evening, and good night to you all. Yeah. All right.
Good night,
So
Doctor.
Good night. Good night. So I'm
Thank you,
ending up
Doctor. Have a lovely night.
Yeah. Same to you all. I'm ending up the meeting. Thank you.